So, thanks everybody for coming. So we're going to be doing Kripalu yoga tonight. Kripalu yoga is the school of yoga that I got trained in. So it is very slow and meditative. There's some strength building postures. But the most important thing is you make adjustments and modifications for you. So if something we're doing doesn't feel right, do something else. If you are feeling like the back is really achy and it would feel better if you just laid on the sand for about 10 minutes or the rest of the time, that's okay. It is not like a competition on who's doing perfect postures. You will see that I can do the postures, but they're not perfect. It's about going inward. So yoga is yoking the mind, connecting the mind to the body. Yoga helps us move our body because we're so used to just sitting in one place or staying in one place, basically. Most of us, although Kathy, you're in one place, but just not sitting. So it helps us relieve a lot of those stress, the tension, releases toxins, makes us stronger and healthier, and also helps clear up the mind. The real purpose of yoga is to clear up the mind because I've been reading this book. I have a little quote from it, but it talks about the mind being like a fish out of water, just wrestling for the next idea. So it just never lays down. It's always wrestling. Those thoughts keep coming in. So yoga helps calm those waves of the thoughts of the mind around a little bit. So we'll start with a centering. We'll move into some breath work that I'll lead you through. From there, we'll move into some warm-ups. I'll lead you through everything. And then we'll work into the asanas, which are the postures. And all of that is for the relaxation at the end. The goal of yoga, again, is to clear the mind. And the final relaxation, you should be in a super comfy spot. And hopefully you can just let your mind go and open. I encourage you, if at any point the mind starts wandering and thinking about, what you might need to do or you might have forgotten, just let that flow by the breeze. It will be there when you finish at 8 o'clock. So it's time for you now to relax, enjoy. We're in a beautiful spot. The weather has cooperated. The cloud is here, which is pretty cool and amazing. So we're going to just enjoy being in this space, in this place, and in this practice. So get yourself in a comfy spot. We have some soft sand tonight, so you can jiggle in if that feels good. Hands come. I like on the sand, put my hands like this just to support my lower back. But you want to have a straight spine, be in a comfy spot, lift up through the crown, and notice the ears should be over the shoulders. So hopefully you can get to a spot that is comfy for you. Some people prefer sitting up on the knees like this. This is comfortable for some people. It's not for me. But whatever is comfortable for you, it might look like this. That might be comfortable for you. So whatever is comfy for you is the way you should be. So allow the eyes to close. Bring yourself to this space away from the conversations and the connections, which will be there when we finish. And turn the attention inward, noticing how you're sitting, noticing the sits bones on the earth and where the feet are falling and the back. Bring your attention to your breath. Don't change it at all. Just notice the quality of your breath. Is it even? Is it shallow? Notice the breeze, and perhaps you can feel a bit of that sunlight still creeping through. Notice the sounds of the waves as they come in and crash. Keep your attention focused on those senses, the sound, the feel. Our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. Joy follows a pure thought like a shadow that never leaves. It is hard to train the mind. It goes where it likes and does what it wants. But a trained mind brings health and happiness. So throughout our practice, let's work on training the mind and bringing it back to the senses, bringing it back to our breath, bringing it back to a thought of happiness or joy. On the next inhale, deepen your breath, making it a little bit longer, a bit deeper. As you inhale, expand the belly, like blowing up a balloon. And as you exhale, deflate the balloon of your belly, perhaps bringing the belly button in a gentle squeeze back towards the spine to empty the belly out fully. Inhale, expanding the belly. Exhale, deflating. Gradually deepening the breath with each new cycle. On the next inhale, expand the belly and see if you can sip that breath in just a little bit more to expand the rib cage. And then exhale, rib cage deflates, belly deflates. Noticing the breath entering your body and the expansion of your belly, your rib cage, and sip in a bit more and see if you can bring that breath up into your chest now. And on the exhale, chest, ribs, belly. This is called Dirga, the three-part yogic breath. So notice the expansion of the belly, the ribs, the chest, and then you deflate the chest, the ribs, the belly. If you'd like, you can layer on the Ujjayi breath, which is a gentle constriction to the back of your throat, almost like a hissing. The lips stay closed. The breath comes in through the nose. You can either continue with the three-part breath or just focus on the Ujjayi. You'll hear almost the sounds of the ocean if you can convince your throat to constrict just a bit as the breath slips back through the throat. And exhale, you'll hear that same gentle hissing. Some people like to say a Darth Vader sound. It takes some practice, so don't get frustrated if that's not something that comes easy. The Ujjayi breath is probably my favorite breath. I love that sound. The other name for the Ujjayi breath is the victory breath, and it's the victory over the thoughts in the mind. So that gentle ocean sound can really help soothe the mind. So let go of that breath now and just notice the qualities of the breath as you let it go, observing. Hands drop to the sides of our body. Inhale, fingertips lift up towards the sky. Gaze reaches up. Hands come to prayer position and pull them down through your heart center. And inhale, hands, fingertips raise up to the sky, and exhale back down to the sides. Inhale, fingertips lift up. Hands come to prayer position, pulling that energy down towards our centers. And inhale, fingertips float up and back down to the sides. Follow your breath here now. If your breath is longer, you'll be going slower. If your breath is quicker, you'll be going more quickly. Make this a moving meditation. As you follow your breath. Notice the breath entering your body. Notice the feel of that cool, gentle breeze, the sounds of the ocean. And the next time your fingertips are raised up to the sky, no rush to get there, we're going to take a gentle twist. Right hand comes over to left knee as we gaze over the left shoulder. Again, no rush. And inhale, hands raise up to center. And exhale, twist opposite hand to opposite knee. Inhale, we come through center. And exhale and twist. You could choose to take an extra breath here if that's something that feels good for you, or you can continue to match your breath and your motion. Going inward, noticing where you can loosen up a bit, perhaps making any modifications that feel good for you. Again, always noticing the breath, training the mind to focus on what feels good and right. The next time you're at center, and again, no rush to get there. We're taking our time. One hand falls down to the side as we reach across into a gentle side bend. And inhale, hands come back up to center. And exhale to the opposite side. Loosening up that side body, never going too far, always going to the right place for you. Matching breath to motion. And just always checking back in with these absolutely beautiful conditions tonight. So one more, make it a nice even exploration. And when you feel good and stretched and balanced, hands float down to the knees. Checking in with your hips, your legs, your back. Noticing. And on the next inhale, chin lifts, chest lifts in a gentle arch to the back. And exhale, curling the back, chin comes to chest. As we curl back, inhale, arching up, face lifts up, and exhale, curling the back. In a gentle, seated cat dog. Let's move down to tabletop. So we're going to flip over, come under the hips. Sand is soft tonight, so make yourself a nice little place for your knees. And hands are going to come directly underneath your shoulders. So make sure you have a nice foundation. Now, left leg comes back. And exhale, knee comes forward. Inhale, stretching out. Maybe you want to take an extra pause there and adjust the hips, loosen up the hips a little bit. And exhale, knee comes in. Inhale, leg comes out, parallel, foot can be flexed or pointed. Exhale, knees comes in. If you want to add a little balance, opposite hand can reach out parallel. And then on the exhale, knee comes to elbow. Again, matching breath to motion. The choice of the arm is yours. You can just stick with the leg. Matching the speed of your breath once again. Inhale, stretching out. And exhale, we're curling in. Option if you'd like the front of the thigh to grab the back of the foot, or you can continue with that back and forth of arm and leg. If you have grabbed your foot, let's just come back out to the horizon and meeting back. Notice the difference between. And let's move to the opposite side. Inhale, leg comes back, parallel. And comes in. Exhale, leg comes out. Can be flexed or can be pointed. Your choice. Option if you're looking for a little balance to raise the arm up. And as we exhale, elbow comes to knee. Check in with your modifications that you. An option to reach back and grab that foot if you're looking for that stretch. I like that myself. Horizon and back down to table. Let's stand up on our knees and bring one leg forward. The foot wants to be a little bit past the knee. We don't want the foot directly under the knee. We're going to hinge forward at the hips, just gently loosening up the hips and then press back to loosen up the back of the hamstring. Pressing forward, opening up the hips, and pressing back with the hamstring. Maybe now that it's loose, you want to go a little bit further. On the exhale, we're pressing back. And on the inhale, we're pressing forward. Option to lift your hands up into a warrior, low warrior lunge, if that feels good for you, or you can always keep your hands right down on the ground. Inhale as we go forward, and exhale, pressing back. Focusing on what feels right for you, making any modifications. And when you're ready, moving to the opposite side of the table and lift the opposite leg forward. Make sure you're in a good stable spot with the sand. My foot is a little bit ahead of the knee, and just going to start with some gentle forward and backward motion. Inhale, moving forward, opening up the hips. And exhale, pressing back. Go at your own pace. This can be a big stretch or it can be a little stretch depending on how you're feeling tonight and your body. An option to bring the hands up to a warrior position if that feels good. And let's bring those 2 feet together now, that maneuvering. Let's keep the body hanging so our ribs are on our thighs. Just hang there for a second. Out to the sides, moving up to the sky. Hands come up to prayer position and reaching back down through heart center. Let's pause here for a moment. Our first time standing up together. Just noticing, checking in with the body. Training our mind to bring it back to our breath, our environment, what feels good. And inhale, fingertips raise up to the sky. Hands come to heart center and moving down through the heart. And inhale, fingertips reach up and let's swoop down into a swan's dive, flat back, folding forward. Hang here for a breath. Press up, hands come to shins with a flat back like a table. Glancing up and exhale, folding down again. Fingertips sweep up to the sides and up to the sky. Hands come to prayer position and back down through heart center. One more time. Inhale, fingertips up. Exhale, swoop down. Pause here for a breath. Inhale, press up, flat tabletop back. Hands to shins. Exhale, folding back down flat. Inhale, fingertips float up to the sides and to the sky. Prayer position, back down through heart center. One more time, fingertips up, and then they swoop down to the sides, a flat, long back. Pausing here for a breath. Inhale, flat tabletop back. Glancing up, exhale, folding down. And fingertips swoop up to the sides, to prayer position, and back down to heart center. Take a few breaths there and pause and check in with yourself. I'm going to move into a warrior sequence. So in a warrior sequence, we're going to start at the top of wherever we want to be, and we're going to be stepping backwards. So think about where would be a good place for you. Let's start in a mountain Tadasana pose. Feet are grounded in. I like to make a little spot. I like to make a little spot with my feet. Oh, there we go. Thanks. So feet are directly under the hips. Hands come to hips, elongating through the crown. Weight moves to the left side. Exhale, right foot comes back, parallel like you're on railroad tracks, landing on the ball of your foot. Let's check in right here. Front left knee should be directly over the ankle. Hips are square. Inner thighs are pulling towards each other. Elongating through the crown of our head. We can move our hands up to a wide V, or we can move to a cactus heart opener. My personal favorite are the hitchhiker thumbs to open up my chest. This is Virabhadrasana, warrior. Moving inward, focusing on the breath. Hips move, square, inner thighs are pulling towards each other. Bring in that Ujjayi breath if that's something that feels good for you. And exhale, hands come to hips. Right foot twists open to a 90-degree angle. Left knee is still directly over the ankle. Check in with the hips. Make sure the tailbone is pointed down, shouldn't be curled back. Elongating through the crown, fingertips float up to either side parallel to the earth. Option to glance over at those front fingertips in Parshva Virabhadrasana, side warrior. Notice the shoulders should be melted down, reaching long through the crown of your head. Call in on your breathing. Let's reach out over across that left leg. Left arm comes down, reaching across into a lateral side stretch. Exhale back through to warrior two. And left hand flips up towards the sky now. Right hand scoots down the back of your leg into gazing warrior. Focus on your breath. And exhale, arms come down parallel into side warrior. Hands come to hips. Let's bring the left leg now, pivot so we're even in parallel. Take a breath here. Maybe move side to side. Notice the effects of the warrior sequence on that one side. Grounding in through our feet, let's make sure we have even footprints as we have this wide stance. Checking in with the tailbone should be pointed down again now. So not arched out and back, should be down and flat. Elongating through the crown, hinging at the hips. Legs can be straight or knees can be bent as we come to a tabletop position here. If you're looking for more of a stretch, hands can come out like an airplane. Elongating through the crown of your head. So see if you can just grow a millimeter as your head is in line with your spine. Calling in on the breath. And if you'd like, option to release and drape those ribs down. Hands can come to earth if that feels something's good for you, or you always can come back to a standing position. This is standing wide angle. Release, let go. Notice where you can bring the breath. You can play with bending the knees and moving side to side if that feels good for you. But if any point feels like it's too much, dial it back to what feels good for you. Let's bend the knees slightly, hands come to hips, elongating through the crown, slowly raising the torso back up to a standing position. Might get a little bit of a light head as we change our orientation there. So just pause there for a second. Moving to the opposite side of warrior now. So I'm going to pivot open my right foot. Knee can bend right over that right foot. So the knee should be directly over that ankle. Let's make sure it's not tweaking in. Directly over the ankle, long through that back left leg, tailbone iron down, reaching up through the crown. Inhale, fingertips float up, parallel with the earth. Elongating through the crown, reach through the fingertips. Shoulders are soft and melted down. Option to gaze over those front fingertips. Calling in on the breath. Maybe that Ujjayi breath. And leaning a little bit forward past that right side, right elbow comes across into a side stretch. And let's bring it back to that side warrior, Parshva Virabhadrasana. Right hand flips up, left hand slides down the back into gazing warrior. Calling in on the breath. Fingertips float back to the side, hands come to hips. Let's pivot on that back left foot. So we're now facing our right leg is forward. Make sure you're nice and balanced. You don't want to twist an ankle or fall here. So take time to make sure you're nice and sturdy. We're on the ball of our foot in the back. Check in with the hips. They should be square forward. Tailbone should be ironed down. Reaching long through the crown of the head. Option to bring your hands up to a wide V or a heart opener cactus or to hitchhiker W. Figure out which feels best for you tonight. It changes from time to time, and maybe your hands just feel best right back on your hips. This is the yoga of you. It's up to you what feels good and right. And hands come to hips. Let's put the weight over our front right leg and spring forward. Take some time now to check in with your body. Perhaps hands come to side, or hands can come to heart, or even to belly. Take a few breaths and just notice. And one more time, let's raise our fingertips up to the sky, and they come down to the sides as we have a flat back and fold forward. This time we're going to come down in through tabletop. So find that tabletop position. Table is soft, so I want to find a nice little place for my hands and my knees. We're going to do a gentle rock. We're going to bring the hips towards the wrists, and then exhale, press back into a mini child. Inhale, hips come towards the wrists as we stretch the back and the hips, and exhale. Matching breath to motion. Continue this for a few cycles on your own. So as we inhale, moving forward, and as we exhale, and the next time you're forward, continue to fold forward, and let's lay on the belly. Hands can stack, and feet can come to hand. is going to come in line with the spine. So either our lips or our forehead is on our towel. Let's take our right leg and pick it up and move it back about an inch, lengthening our body, and same with our left leg, lengthening our body. Elbows are up towards the sky, hands are on opposite sides, hands are just there for balance. Let's press down through the tops of our feet, notice the pelvis grounded in the earth, elongating through the crown. Inhale and raise the head and the torso. This is through the strength of the lower back. Let's not press with the hands. And exhale, floating the head back down. Inhale, lifting with the lower back, head and torso come up in Bhujangasana, Cobra. And exhale, floating down. And one last time, we're going to sustain it here for 3 breaths. Head and torso lifting up, pressing through the tops of the feet, through the crown of the head. 3 deep breaths here. And head floating down. You can move your cheek to the towel and pressing up through table. Let's come back to child's pose. So in child's pose, the knees open up, belly comes in between the knees, head comes to the towel or mat, hands reach forward. Pressing back up through tabletop, moving into a downward dog here. So let's make sure our hands are nice and firmly planted. Fingertips are spread wide. Middle finger is pressing forward. Elbows are pivoted back. So the bony bits of your elbows should be facing your thighs. Shoulders are nice and strong. Play with the shoulders here, collapsing and overextending the shoulders here in a little bit of a cat. We want to find a nice neutral, strong position. Grip in with your fingertips, almost like you have a spider, those spider fingers. Curl the toes under and keep those knees bent as you gently reach them to the sky. Head comes in between the 2 arm bones, and you can gently pedal out your feet into some side stretches. Notice what feels good for your shoulders. Grip in with your fingertips. And back down through table and back down to our belly. Let's bring the hands now down to our sides. So not flat on the earth anymore, down by our sides. Head is in line with the spine, so either your chin or your forehead is to the mat. As we inhale, let's lift with the lower back, head and torso come up, and option for the hands and the feet to also come up in Navasana, boat pose. Elongating through the crown of the head, exhale, head floats back down to the earth. And one more time, inhaling, elongating through the crown, through the toes, through the fingertips. And exhale back down. And one last time, elongating through the crown, through the toes, through the fingertips. Let's have 3 long, deep breaths here. In Navasana boat, your boat might rock as you bring in a nice deep breath. And exhale, giving you a massage, perhaps, on your torso. And after you've completed those 3 breaths, just float back down into the mat. Hands can come underneath, resting on your cheek. And back to child's pose. Knees come wide, belly comes between, head comes to the earth, arms are long. Take a few breaths here. And moving up to tabletop, one more downward dog. Let's plant those hands in, nice fingertips wide. Elbows are twisted back towards our knees, so nice strong elbows and shoulders. Fingertips or toes curl under, pressing up through the hips. Head comes in between the 2 armbands. Move the feet to a place that feels good for you. Check in with the shoulders. Can pedal your feet back and forth. And exhale back down through table. Let's take our hands, one handprint past where we were. Right knee comes up to right wrist. Option to stay right here, or the right ankle can go underneath the left hip. So moving it over into a, figure 7 or something like that. Our left foot curls up and walks the left foot back. So if this is too much on your leg, your knee, your hip, dial it back to a place that feels right. Check in with your hips. They should be square. And glance back. Your foot should be in line with your body. This is Kapotasana, pigeon pose. So again, if it's too much, just dial back the stretch or bring the knee into a spot that feels good, or you can even move to your back and do some extra motions if this is not a posture for you. So this is Kapotasana. Option, if you'd like, to move into resting pigeon. This deepens the stretch, but we can drape the ribs over the front thigh, or you can stay right here. Notice where you can bring your breathing to loosen up, make modifications that feel right for you. If your pigeon is resting, let's press up into a long spine, curling the left toes under, walking that knee forward, and then bringing that right foot back around to meet in table. Checking in. And moving to the opposite side, handprints are forward. Left knee now comes to left wrist. Option to stay right here, or you can bring that left ankle underneath the right hip, curling the right toes under, walking the knee back to a place that feels good. You can uncurl your toes when you get to that spot. Don't collapse over the raised left hip. Shoulders and hips are square. Checking in with the back leg to make sure it's in line. Reaching long through the crown, and then option if you want to move into resting pigeon to deepen that stretch. Checking in with the body, relaxing and unwinding. If your pigeon is resting, bring that pigeon up to a proud pigeon. And now let's collapse on that left hip and bring the right foot around. So we're now sitting, and then we can move all the way to our back here. So we'll be on our back here for the rest of our time. So you might want to make yourself a nice little spot in the sand, shimmying back and forth. Let's take a minute here to check in with how we're feeling. Noticing the waves and the breeze and the body. Take our right foot and take the ankle across the knee, like you're sitting in a chair, and the ankle is across the knee. Hands come out to a T position, and our right leg is across our left knee. And exhale, we're going to let those legs both fall over to the left into a gentle spinal twist. Option to glance over the left fingertip. And just take a few breaths there as you let go. Moving back to center. Switching sides, left ankle now crosses the right leg, laying over the right thigh. And exhale, both legs float down to the left as we gaze over our right fingertips. Shoulders should be grounded to the earth. They should not be lifted up. So just take a few letting go breaths there as you twist and unwind. Coming back to center. Take a minute here to make any last stretches that feel good for you. Maybe you want to windshield wiper your legs back and forth. Maybe you want to take a big stretch. Maybe you want to give a hug to yourself. Maybe you want to bring your knees in and rock on your back. Just make any last stretches or movement that feels good for you. Laying on your back, we're going to move into Shavasana. So you want to get yourself into a very comfortable position. Feet can be flat on the earth or they can be spread out straight. Hands traditionally are on the sides with palms facing up, but you can prefer to have them across your belly. So just want to get yourself into a very comfortable spot. Now it's time to relax, to let go. We've moved the body, we've twisted the body, we've strengthened the body. Time to enjoy the imprint, the echo of that movement on your body. As you relax and let go, training the mind, bringing it back to the breath, bringing it back to the sensations that feel the best for you. comfortable for you right now? Okay, I'm just going to put my hands on you. You just relax. Okay. Bringing some movement to the fingers, to the toes. Maybe taking a stretch. Rolling to one side. Pause there. And take a breath or two. Gaze is lower or eyes are still closed. When you're ready, push yourself up, keeping the attention inward. Let's clean off our hands if we can for a second, if you have some sand. And just bring the heels of your hand over your eyes here for a second. Just blocking out any light. May you be safe. Bring hands to either sides of your cheek, cupping your face like you would a small child. May you be happy. And crossing the hands, giving ourselves a gentle hug. May you be well and live a life of ease. Hands come to prayer position in heart center. Thanking yourself for giving yourself this time tonight to focus on you, to train the mind to be a little calmer, to choose happiness, and to make modifications in your life and in your practice that feel right for you. One of my favorite things to do is to end the practice with the sound of Om, the sound of the universe. You can join in or you can just listen. If you choose to join in, it's a deep breath in. Bowing to the light that is in you. Bowing to the light that is around you in each other. Give each other a namaste. Thank you for coming tonight and practicing. The weather cooperated with us. I hope you feel good and well and can take this feeling with you into the evening and into your day tomorrow.